Welcome to the Produce Industry Podcast Global Fresh Series, your audio source for international produce markets, trends, market reports, and community discussion. Join us somewhere in the world as we cover all aspects of the international produce and supply chain industry. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your host, Juanita Gallio.
Hello, Global Fresh Produce Specialist, and welcome to not only the new year, but the Global Fresh Series. I'm your host, Juanita Gallio, coming to you from Long Beach, California, after traveling back from Sydney, Australia. Now, California has had a milestone. While I was away, there was torrential rain. And for decades, California has been suffering from a serious drought situation, so much so that many people in my neighborhood have pulled their lawn up and replaced it with arid landscape or astroturf due to the heavy restrictions on watering over the last few years. Now, California experienced some of the most torrential downpours while I was away, and it's for the first time in 25 years, the entire state has been declared entirely free of drought conditions. It is reported that the last time the state achieved this status was in December 2000. It is hoped that this achievement marks a hopeful moment and year ahead. And ironically, this comes at a time when at the same time last year, we were experiencing very high winds and this horrible wildfires that just ripped through parts of Malibu, most of Malibu, and destroyed just about all of Altadena. These fires were just raging and the wind did not help. And look what a difference a year can make. And of course, this not only eases pressure on high-risk fire areas, but also on the California farmers. They now have full reserves, strengthening ecosystems that have struggled under prolonged dry conditions. So this is the first good news that I'm starting off with on the podcast, the second podcast of the new year. As I mentioned earlier, I just returned from spending the holidays in Australia, where summer is just getting warmed up. I mean, I felt like I was beginning to relive everything all over again. With this wonderful fruit, it was like walking through Australian supermarkets, felt like stepping back into peak summer all over again. Sweet cherries, juicy peaches, sun-ripened apricots. It was a reminder of just how powerful seasonal produce can be. But there was one fruit that completely stole the show for me, the mangoes. Oh my God, I am not exaggerating. They were like eating ice cream, unbelievably really creamy and sweet and perfectly ripe. And let me be clear, I didn't just enjoy one mango a day, because as I was eating the first one, I thought, this is too good. I have to have another one. I was already peeling the second one. In fact, the mango experience followed a predictable pattern. Cut up the first mango, take a few bites, and before I even finished it, I'm already starting, as I said, the second one. Because there's that seed is quite large, so there was a good amount of meat, but it was just melting in my mouth. So it was just juicy, decadent, and absolutely forgettable. But let's also not forget that this area down there, when the summer starts to heat up, they unfortunately are really victims of all these rising temperatures with an increased risk of fire activity. But amid all of the one truly thing that stood out was this fresh produce that they do produce down there. I mean, everything in the supermarket, when I looked at the tag underneath, said Australian produced, product of Australia. They're very proud of all their fresh produce. And not only the fresh produce, but they have cattle grazing, they have fresh fish. I ate really, really well down there. It was delicious. So as I mentioned, another thing that I found very interesting as I was visiting Australia, I had lunch with some friends who have two young children. They immigrated from the U.S. to Australia, which started as a 6-month work assignment. This was maybe 3 years ago. They enjoyed living down there so much that they've stayed, and they just received a permanent residency. And we were talking about all these fresh fruits and vegetables. They told me that in Australia, their school-age children are required to bring a piece of fresh fruit or vegetable to school every day. It's a requirement. It's part of a nationwide effort to get kids hooked on fresh produce early. And according to their parents, it has been working because now when the kids are hungry and they want a snack, uh, they ask for their fruit. They're so familiar with all the fruits and vegetables. They know what they like, and they're asking for fruit instead of packaged snack items during a snack period. So it just shows that these habits are worth exporting and really trying. I know, I think here in the US, it would be impossible to enforce something like that. But I think if schools, they don't have to enforce it, but they can certainly encourage it. And kids who were not bringing fruits and vegetables versus the ones who were would get what I would think might get curious enough to go ahead and start digging around the produce aisles and find something unique to bring. So from world-class mangoes to smart food education programs, my takeaway from Australia was simple. When fresh produce is celebrated, protected, and made part of your daily life, everyone wins. We are in a challenging industry indeed. As how do we translate the delicious good news of fresh produce? Metrics for per capita consumption have been down in both the US and Europe, as I've spoken about many times on these different podcasts. What I find interesting is that it seems as though consumers, especially the Gen Z generation, they seem to be replacing consumption of fresh produce with the ubiquitous choices of juices on the market. It is mind-blowing to walk into a Whole Foods and see this entire section. You just walk along the aisle, the entire length of the aisle, and what used to be there, maybe packaged goods or other things that were not frozen but refrigerated, they're gone. It's been replaced with about 100 different types of drinks. And I'm saying juice, they call them kombucha drinks. What are the other ones? Pretty soon it's going to be neurodivergent drinks. I mean, drinks for everything, but hydration drinks. I mean, this has really been a trend on these. And as I said, I'm kind of noticing it that I think some of these, the Gen Z in particular, are believing that I don't really need to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. I can just choose any one of these drinks here. I can choose this in the morning for hydration. I can choose this in the afternoon for neurodivergent, or this for something else. I think it's really taken away from the interest in discovering some fresh fruits and vegetables. So listen to this. There is a new, out of all these hundreds of choices of drinks on the market, and by the way, they're very expensive as well. The latest one is banana juice. It is the latest plant based hydration beverage on the market, being touted as the peel good beverage. Crazy, huh? So, one Instagram user has described it like eating baby food. It is now sold in supermarkets as an alternative to sports drinks, as a sort of coconut water 2.0. There are two leading manufacturers of this juice craze, and they are both based in Thailand, claiming that the juice comes from Thai golden or cultivated bananas. These drinks are available under the brand name Banangwa Original Banana at $3.49 for a 330 milliliter ounce, and Woodstock's or organic banana water at almost $3 for 500 milliliter. And I backdate myself, or backdate there, because it wasn't milliliter. I mean, it's milliliter. It's not milliliter ounce. It's just milliliter. I haven't converted this 500 milliliter into ounces. So that is my theory why the fruit and veggie sector is suffering due to segmented demographics wanting to drink juices. There is a belief that they will gain more nutritional value from drinking the juice rather than eating the real fruit. And this isn't going anywhere. This is not dying at all. But I'm going to check out the supermarkets when I get to Berlin at Fruit Logistica, because I haven't really seen juices like this take off there the way they have here. So, speaking of that, let's take a moment to go bananas with our first class sponsor, Spuds. I wonder if the next craze could be potato juice. They are a true leader in the world of spuds. They are proudly Canadian and proudly Manitoban. Their Manitoba is a true potato powerhouse, growing top quality potatoes and storing them to ensure a fresh local supply throughout the year, no matter the season. Manitobans can count on homegrown potatoes to elevate everyday meals. And when you are doing global fresh shipments, issues can arise from these shipments that requires experts to help you navigate smooth sailing for payments. That is when you turn to the DRC. They're also known as the Fruit and Vegetable Dispute and Resolution Corporation. Try that, it's a mouthful. Make sure to stop by Hall 25, B22 if you are at Fruit Logistica. And if you don't have plans, you might want to make plans now to attend the show to meet their team who can help you navigate through these channels and trade with confidence. They really are worth checking out, the DRC. As we cut to commercial, peel a banana or grab a crisp apple. Peel an orange or smash an avocado while it's still a steal. We'll give you just enough time to snack smart as we cut to commercial, but please don't go to the alternative juices. Have the real thing. Stay fresh. We will be right back.
120 years ago, in Groningen, the Netherlands, a small produce business began, trading fresh local fruits. By the 1930s, the Vandenberg family moved to Rotterdam, Europe's burgeoning fruit hub. But when the 1940s brought turmoil, they fled to America, rebuilding their legacy in fresh produce. In 1958, Jack Vandenberg became a trailblazer, importing fresh Chilean fruit to the US, opening doors to global flavors. Today, that spirit of growth and innovation continues, with sustainable packaging, carbon footprint tracking, and the finest fruit varieties. We're redefining freshness for the future. Family, fresh, innovation, celebrating a legacy 120 years in the making. This is Jack Vandenberg.
And we're back. Thank you to Jack Vandenberg, one of our special sponsors. I love that commercial. Now, I have a question for everyone out there that's listening to me. Have you ever tried a durian piece of fruit? You know, durian, Durian. Personally, I've been afraid to with all the descriptions that I have heard of this feared fruit. I understand the smell of the fruit is likened to rotting onions or garlic, overripe cheese, sulfur, hard boiled eggs, and even trash that has been sitting in tropical heat. It's so bad that it's banned in hotels, airports, and public transport across Southeast Asia. But this is a story about a small town in Malaysia. The Chinese are calling this fruit the Hermes of durians because farmers in this area of the world have chopped down their palm oil plantations to grow and meet the ever-growing demand for this durian fruit that may not smell so good, but listen to what's happening here in this area of the world with durian fruit. If you ever find yourself driving through Raub, it's spelled Raub, it's a quiet mountain town in Malaysia. You don't even need a sign to tell where you are because you smell it first. It's a faint, unmistakable fragrance that lingers in the air, trailing behind trucks, winding through these narrow roads. Then you see it, green spikes towering sculpture, murals painted lovingly on roadside walls, and bold decorations welcoming you to the home of Mazang King durians. This place was once a gold mining town in the 19th century. Rob has struck gold again, but this time in yellow, because its economy is powered not by minerals underground, but by fruit hanging overhead. The Mazang King durian, buttery, bittersweet, complex, has become the crown jewel of Malaysia's orchards. And Rob sits at the epicenter of something much bigger. There's a global durian rush. Chinese appetite for durian has exploded at a scale few commodities ever experienced. Believe it or not, it's getting sounds like the durian is even surpassing the avocado boom. In 2024 alone, the country imported $7 billion worth of durians, nearly triple what it imported just 4 years earlier. More than 90% of the world's durian export now flows into China. As one exporter in Rob put it, even if only 2% of Chinese people want durians, that's more than enough business. This surge has flipped agricultural priorities across Southeast Asia. During the economic downturn of the 1990s, farmers cut down durian trees to plant oil palms. Today, the reverse is happening. Oil palms, they're coming out, they're chopping those down, they're putting durian trees back in. All for this fruit that is so pungent, it's banned on public transport. It was even blamed for gas leak evacuations and once grounded a plane after passengers protested the smell drifting from the cargo hold. To others, it's royalty. In China, durian has transformed from curiosity to status symbol, an exotic gift among the affluent, a social media unboxing moment, and the unlikely star of culinary mashups: durian chicken hot pot, durian pizza, and even durian dessert stacked like trophies. I don't know if you can get me trying some of those, but Thailand and Vietnam still dominate the supply. Malaysia's reputation for premium varieties, especially that Masang King, is growing fast. While durians may sell for a couple of dollars locally, these top grade Masang Kings, they can command anywhere from $14 to $100 per fruit, depending on season and qualities. And buyers, they're coming in person because Chinese traders, tour groups, and food entrepreneurs now flock to rural Malaysia, sitting shoulder to shoulders at long tables. They're tasting durians in careful sequence. They're actually, because the flavors of these durians are from mild and creamy to rich, complex. And finally, the prize Masang King with its almost alcoholic bitterness, because sweetness alone is no longer enough. They have this whole range of flavor profiles that today's durian consumers ask about: the fragrance, depth, and nuance. Some even request bitterness. Once considered a flaw, now it's a mark of sophistication with some of these durians. Behind this boom are family farms and generational stories. There's a farmer like Uncle Thing, a 72-year-old durian grower whose orchards have made his family prosperous, but not without sacrifice, because he wakes up before dawn every day, navigating these steep hills to collect fallen fruit. Some are caught in nets, others dangling from branches. And he had a falling durian that once struck his shoulder, a reminder that this is not easy money. But at his shop, durians are sorted meticulously: grade C for the misshapen, grade A for the large and round, and a single revered basket in the center, grade double A. These are the durians bound for China. So this golden rush carries risks, though. Food safety scares, land disputes, environmental trade offs, and even geopolitical consequences are rippling through the supply chain. China has signed a flurry of durian trade agreements across Southeast Asia, calling them symbols of bilateral friendship, all while investing railways that now move thousands of tons of fruit daily. I mean, I just can't believe this. At the same time, China is chasing something it calls durian freedom. In Henan, experimental orchards are finally producing fruit. The harvest is still tiny, it's less than 1% of consumption, but the ambition is clear: self sufficiency. But meanwhile, growers back in Rob, that possibility looms quietly in the background. For now, confidence remains strong. Many insist Malaysian durians are unmatched. But as China refines its own supply, the Masang King's throne feels less secure than before. As Uncle Thing says with a shrug, all we can do is take good care of our farms and boost yields. And that may be the quiet truth of the global fresh produce story. Behind every luxury fruit, every booming export market, and every diplomatic headline, there are farmers, seasons, and forces far bigger than any single crown. So let's take a quick whiff of fresh air from the durian and move on after this commercial. Welcome back to the Fresh Global Series. If you're just joining us, welcome. And as always, a big thank you to all of our amazing sponsors who make this program possible. We're going to take a breather from the stinky fruit, the durian. Maybe I will try it a sample a bit of this after of what I learn. And we're going to switch to something a little bit more normal, but still, it's the ever celebrated potato. Because we have some important news from India. They have a new potato power squad. If potatoes had passports, India just stamped 4 brand new ones. And these spuds are officially cleared for nationwide travel, coming soon to a field near you where it could be grown and then distributed to a local supermarket. This week in India, their potato fields got a glow up with a green light on 4 newly notified potato varieties developed to feed both dinner tables and snack cravings across the country. Think of it as a carefully curated potato power squad because each one has been bred with a specific mission in mind. First up, let's meet Kufri Ratan, the dependable classic. It's a red skin beauty with uniform good looks and a solid 90-day growing cycle. Kufri Ratan, it's built for the North Indian Plains and Plateau regions, with yields pushing close to 40 tons per hectare and strong storage potential. This is the potato that shows up on time, performs consistently, and plays well with everyone at the table. Right alongside it is Kufri Tejas, the heat-loving overachiever. It's designed for India's warmer plains, from Punjab and Haryana to Gujarat and Maharashtra. This variety doesn't flinch when temperatures rise. It matures in about 90 days, delivers impressive yields, and holds its own even in ambient storage conditions. In a warming climate, Kufri Tejas is proof that potatoes too can lean to keep their cool. But no potato story is complete without snacks. So enter the crunch specialist, Kufri Chip Bharat. I really like the name of this, Kufri Chip Bharat. Actually, there's a dash and one after that because it clocks in at around 100 days and brings exactly what processors dream of: high dry matter, low reducing sugars, and a yield profile that makes chip manufacturers smile. This is the potato that turns golden, crispy, and Instagram worthy without burning or browning. It's a quiet hero behind every perfect chip, and I will be interested to try it. Then the last one is Kufri Chip Bharat 2 because it is the early riser of the group, ready in about 90 days. It delivers similar processing traits, but gets to the party faster with storage qualities designed to support a steady pipeline for processors. This variety will help keep the chip bowls full and the supply chain humming. Together, these 4 varieties tell a bigger story because they're not just about yield. They're about matchmaking potatoes to purpose, about giving growers region specific options, processors, reliable raw materials, and finally, consumers get everything from fluffy table potatoes to perfectly crisp chips. And now that these varieties are officially part of India's certified system, they're going to be ready to scale from research plots to real fields, from local farms to national supply chains. In the global fresh produce world, innovation doesn't always arrive with a bang. Sometimes it shows up quietly in rows of potato plants, in carefully measured dry matter, and in the simple promise that the next harvest will be better than the last. Here we have it, 4 new potatoes. Happy New Year to the potato commodity. One big step forward and proof once again that even the most familiar foods still have new stories to tell. There you have it, from a small town in Malaysia cashing in on the durian boom to India announcing 4 new potato varieties with a sprinkling of new seeds in between. We bring you the stories from the international front. And as we start this new year, let's take a look at what trade shows are on our radar. So get ready to head to Tucson, Arizona next week for the Southwest International Produce Expo, SWIPE, January 22nd through the 24th, where Patrick Kelly and the Produce Industry Network will be actively covering the show. Following that show, we will be hopping over to Berlin for Fruit Logistica, February 4th through 6th. And meanwhile, while I think about it, while we're at Fruit Logistica, it's the world's largest international fresh produce show. I'm definitely going to check out this durian and also these 4 new potato varieties. Until next time, I'm Juanita Gallio, and this is your reminder that behind every fruit and vegetable, you have a grower, a journey, and a global story that I always try to tell. Stay fresh, stay inspired, and we'll meet again next week on the Global Fresh series. It's been such a pleasure having you join us today. And as we always say here at the Produce Industry Podcast, we will see you somewhere in the world. It's either in the aisles at one of the trade shows, in one of the orchards, or somewhere on the horizon.